The galaxy believed Earth was empty. For centuries, every official record in the star maps showed Earth as a silent, dead world. Sensors detected no cities, no signals, no activity. The planet was marked as uninhabited, a forgotten place with nothing of value. Most travelers did not even glance at it when passing through the sector. It was simply a quiet point in space, ignored by all. But deep under the surface of that silent planet, millions of humans lived without anyone knowing. They built their homes beneath the ground, hidden behind powerful energy shields that blocked every signal from escaping. Their ancestors had gone underground long ago during a great disaster. Over generations, the people learned to survive in huge underground cities, with glowing lights, strong walls, and technology that slowly grew more advanced. They knew the world above was dangerous, and they believed the galaxy was too, so they remained hidden. Now, after thousands of years, their long silence was about to end. On a quiet morning, Commander Grant looked over the final readings on a control screen inside Earth's largest underground launch facility. He had trained for this moment since he was a child. Everyone in his city knew that one day, humanity would return to the surface. They just did not know when. But now, the time had come. The underground network was collapsing because of rising heat and unstable tectonic plates. If they did not leave soon, their home would be destroyed. Took a deep breath as the lights above him flickered from white to blue. That meant the first group of ships was ready. He whispered to himself, trying to steady his heartbeat. He had dreamed of seeing the real sky his whole life. He had seen it only in digital screens and old recordings from long before humanity went underground. No one alive had ever stood under the open sun. Captain Laura Briggs walked into the command room with calm steps. She had a reputation for being strong, focused, and reliable. People trusted her without question. Her uniform was simple, dark gray with a small silver badge showing her rank. Her face showed no fear, only determination. "Are the fleets ready?" she asked. Nodded. "Yes, Captain. The main engines are active and the upper tunnels are clear. We will reach the surface in 6 minutes." Laura placed a hand on the back of a nearby chair, her eyes fixed on the rising energy levels on the screens. "Then this is it. After centuries of silence, we finally return." Felt a mix of excitement and dread. "Do you think the galaxy will know immediately?" "They will know," she said softly. "The moment our ships rise into the sky, every nearby faction will detect us." Swallowed, and what will they do? Laura looked directly at him. "They will be shocked. They thought we vanished. They thought Earth was empty, but they were wrong." Meanwhile, in another section of the underground hangar, Lieutenant Maria Logan tightened the straps on her pilot seat. She was one of the youngest officers allowed to join the launch, chosen for her steady hands and sharp focus. She checked each control 3 times, making sure nothing would go wrong during ascent. Her ship trembled as the engines came online. The metal beneath her boots vibrated gently, a sign that the large hangar doors above were slowly beginning to open. Suddenly, a low alarm echoed across the facility. Not a danger alarm, but a signal announcing the start of the countdown. 10 seconds. Maria closed her eyes. She imagined the surface. She imagined the sunlight. 5 seconds. She gripped the controls. 2 seconds. She breathed in. The ground beneath her ship shook, and then the engines roared. Maria felt the ship rise. Dust and rock fell around the launch tunnel as the massive craft shot upward. For the first time in thousands of years, a human ship broke through the thick crust of Earth and soared toward the sky. Light exploded across the cockpit windows. Maria gasped. Sunlight. Real sunlight. It was brighter, warmer, and more beautiful than anything she had imagined. It filled the cockpit with golden color, reflecting off the metal panels and illuminating her face. She almost cried, but she forced herself to stay focused. All across the surface, huge metal platforms began to open as more ships emerged. Large cruisers, smaller scouts, and massive carriers lifted into the sky, each one shining under the bright light. Dust clouds rose behind them as the fleet climbed higher and higher. Within minutes, more than 100 ships were hovering over Earth. Humans, who had been hidden underground for ages, were now standing openly under the sun for the first time in recorded memory. From the distant edges of space, deep-range sensors belonging to the assembly picked up strange energy signals. At first, the assembly analysts believed it was a glitch. Their records clearly stated that Earth was uninhabited. There should not be any technology there, but the readings became stronger, clearer, and impossible to ignore. Inside the assembly's border station, officers stared at the screen. The energy signature was unmistakable, a fleet, a large, coordinated fleet, and it was rising from Earth. "Commander," he said, calling out, "you need to see this." Commander approached the console with a frown. "What is it now?" "The planet listed as uninhabited Earth. Ships are emerging from it, human ships." Froze, "That is impossible." Shook his head. "I thought so too, but look." The commander's eyes widened as he saw the massive fleet hovering above the blue planet. Dozens of ships, maybe hundreds, arranged in perfect formation. For a moment he did not speak. Then he whispered, "The humans are alive." Nodded slowly. "Not only alive, they are organized, advanced, and they are leaving the planet." Felt a chill run down his spine. The assembly had believed Earth was abandoned, primitive, empty, but this changed everything. Back above Earth, Captain Laura Briggs stood on the bridge of her ship. The main screen showed the calm blue curve of the planet behind them and the dark horizon of space ahead. Grant approached her. "Captain, we are receiving signals. Several factions have detected us." Laura nodded. "It was expected." "What do we do now?" he asked. She folded her hands behind her back. "We continue, we rise, and we show them humanity has returned." Felt a surge of pride. For so long they had lived in darkness, but now humanity was stepping into the galaxy again. As the fleet climbed toward orbit, the ship interiors filled with quiet awe. Crew members stared at the stars. Some cried softly, some smiled, some whispered prayers, but all of them felt the same thing: hope. Maria Logan watched as the stars grew clearer. The blue sky slowly turned darker until space stretched out before her in shining, endless black. Her heart raced. They had made it. The ships reached orbit in a sweeping formation. Their engines glowed softly as they stabilized. The fleet looked like a trail of silver arrows circling the planet. Then, for the first time in ages, Earth sent a signal into space. A calm message, simple and clear. "We are humanity, we have returned." The galaxy did not know what to do with the sudden return of humanity. For so long, Earth had been considered an empty world with no life, no hope, and no reason to watch. But now, the quiet world had released a fleet so large and organized that it looked like the beginning of a new era. All across nearby star systems, governments, traders, and military groups stared at their screens in disbelief. On the lead ship, Captain Laura Briggs remained steady as she watched the incoming signals from several factions. She stood on the bridge with calm eyes, though her mind raced. She had trained for years to prepare for this moment, but nothing could prepare her for the sudden attention of the entire galaxy. Lieutenant Maria Logan monitored the communication panels and spoke in a steady tone. "Captain, 3 new factions are requesting contact. One of them wants to send a diplomatic team. Another is demanding we identify ourselves. The third wants to know if Earth is truly inhabited." Laura breathed slowly. "We expected this. Stay calm. Send them all the same message. Humanity is alive and we seek peaceful contact." Maria nodded and transmitted the words. Several decks below, Admiral Mercer stood in the strategy room with a group of officers. He studied a large holographic map showing every incoming ship within 1,000 kilometers. Some were military vessels, others were civilian scouts, and a few were unknown. One of his officers, a young man named Daniel Hayes, swallowed nervously. "Admiral, some of these ships are armed. Should we activate defensive shields?" Shook his head. "Not yet. If we raise shields now, it will look like we are preparing for battle. We do not want anyone to panic." Daniel hesitated. "But sir, what if they fire first?" Looked at him with calm confidence. "Then we will protect our people, but for now we show peace." Daniel nodded, though his hand still shook a little. The fleet drifted smoothly in orbit, shining like silver arrows against the darkness of space. The beauty of the moment hid the tension building inside every ship. Far away at the border station of the assembly, Commander tried to understand how humanity had advanced so quickly. He stood beside Officer, both staring at the large projection of Earth's fleet. Spoke quietly. "We believed they were gone. They disappeared from records thousands of years ago. No signals, no travel, nothing. And now they emerge with ships that rival ours." Folded his arms. "Some of these ships use energy patterns we have never seen. Their engines are stronger than the ones we use on assembly cruisers." Frowned. How did they achieve that? How did an underground species create this level of technology? Shook his head slowly. "We do not know." Touched the console and sent a message to their home council. "Prepare diplomatic contact immediately." Back aboard the human fleet, Maria Logan received a new transmission. "Captain, the Assembly wishes to open direct communication. They are sending a representative." Laura exhaled slowly. "Good, let us speak with them." A few minutes later, the main screen flashed, and a tall blue-skinned appeared. His white eyes blinked, and small silver markings along his jaw glowed faintly. His expression showed calm curiosity. "Greetings, humans," he said in a deep voice. "I am representative of the Assembly. We believed your world was abandoned. How have you returned to the stars?" Laura stepped forward. "Earth was never abandoned. We lived underground for many generations. We rebuilt in silence, and now we are ready to step into the galaxy again." Looked surprised. "You hid beneath your own planet for how long?" Laura answered simply, "Long enough to survive." Bowed his head in respect. "Your resilience is admirable. Many believed humanity was gone." Mercer stepped into the frame. "We did not vanish, we prepared." Studied him with interest. "Your technology is advanced, more advanced than we expected. Some of your engine signatures do not match any design in our records." Laura exchanged a look with. They both knew this question would come. Spoke calmly. "Humanity discovered ancient machines buried under the planet's crust. We learned from them. We improved upon them. Much of our technology was built with knowledge older than our own history." His eyes widened. "Ancient machines?" "Yes," said. "We do not know who built them, but they helped us survive." For a moment remained silent, absorbing the weight of these words. Then he nodded slowly. "We wish to send peaceful envoys. The galaxy must know your story." Laura smiled softly. "We welcome peace." The transmission faded. Maria Logan let out a breath she had been holding. "Captain, that went well." Laura nodded, "For now." But the galaxy was not fully calm. On a distant moon base belonging to the Empire, a group of military commanders watched the same broadcast with uneasy stares. The Empire respected strength, and the sudden rise of a hidden human fleet made them feel threatened. Commander, a tall creature with dark scales and sharp silver eyes, growled at the screen. "Humans, we believed them weak, lost, primitive." An advisor spoke carefully. "Their ships are not primitive, Commander." Glared at him. "Exactly. A species that hides for centuries and returns with advanced ships is dangerous. We must watch them closely." Another commander leaned forward. "Should we test their strength?" "No," said. "Not yet, but we will learn their limits." Back near Earth, the human fleet prepared for diplomatic meetings. Crew members moved around the ships, checking systems, securing areas, and making sure everything was perfect. People felt a mixture of fear and excitement. They were the first humans in thousands of years to speak with aliens. Inside her ship, Laura Briggs walked through the hallway observing her crew. Many of them looked nervous. She stopped beside a young engineer named Brooks. "Are you ready?" Laura asked. Nodded, though her hands trembled. "I think so, Captain. It feels strange. I grew up seeing only metal walls above me. Now we are floating in space and aliens want to talk to us." Laura smiled gently. "It is new, but we trained for this day." Looked out the window at the stars. "It is beautiful. I never thought I would see this." Laura placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You earned this moment." In the command center, Mercer reviewed the list of incoming diplomatic ships. "They will arrive in 1 hour," he said. Grant adjusted the settings on a nearby console. "Sir, do you think they will accept us?" Looked at him. "Some will fear us. Some may even try to push us back underground, but we will face whatever comes." Nodded. 1 hour later, 3 ships approached the human fleet. They were small, round vessels with soft, glowing lights. They carried representatives from the Assembly, the Trade Union, and the Neutral Council of Free Worlds. Maria Logan guided the docking procedure. Her hands moved confidently on the controls. "Docking complete, Captain." "Good," Laura said. "Let us greet them." Inside the main hall aboard the flagship, a team of humans stood ready. The doors opened slowly as the alien envoy stepped in. The representative was the first to walk forward. His blue skin shone softly under the lights. A trader followed. She had pale green skin and large golden eyes. She observed everything with curiosity. Last came a tall, thin figure from the free worlds, draped in white robes. His calm steps made no sound. Laura stepped forward. "Welcome aboard, we are honored." "Bode, we thank you for accepting us. The galaxy wishes to understand your return." Laura led them to a large room with simple seats arranged in a circle. Humans and aliens sat together for the first time in countless generations. Spoke first. "Your reappearance has caused great interest. Some worlds are curious, some are afraid, but all are watching. What does humanity seek?" Laura answered clearly. "We seek to live openly again. We seek peace, knowledge, and cooperation." The trader tilted her head. "Your technology is powerful. Some fear you may use it for war." Responded calmly. "We do not wish for war. Our technology was built for survival, not conquest." The free world's envoy spoke softly. "If your story is true, then your species has shown remarkable strength. You survived where many would have fallen." Laura nodded. "We endured darkness so we could rise again." The diplomat studied her with respect. One of them asked, "Will you share your technology?" Laura paused, then she answered honestly, "Not yet. We must understand the galaxy first, and the galaxy must understand us." They accepted this answer. But outside the human ship, a silent threat was approaching. An Empire scout ship drifted just beyond normal sensor range. Its dark hull blended with the shadows of space. Inside, Commander watched the human fleet with cold interest. "Let them speak of peace," he growled. "We will learn their weaknesses." His ship recorded every movement, every energy signature, every word it could capture. Back aboard the human flagship, Laura did not yet know danger was near. She focused on building trust and understanding. The talks continued for hours. Humans shared stories of underground life, of the long years without sunlight, of the ancient machines that helped them survive. The aliens listened with fascination. Maria Logan brought water and supplies to the diplomats, moving quietly but confidently. She noticed the envoy watching her closely, as if trying to understand human behavior. Finally, as the meeting ended, stood. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic history. The humans have returned not as lost survivors, but as a strong people with a deep story. The Assembly will announce this news to all worlds." Laura bowed her head. "Thank you." The envoys left the ship peacefully, escorted back to their vessels. When the doors closed, turned to Laura. "That went better than expected." "Yes," Laura said, "but not everyone will welcome us." She was right. Far away, the commanders were already preparing strategies. And soon, humanity would discover that the galaxy's shock was only the beginning of what was coming. The fleet remained in orbit, waiting for what the next day would bring. The news of humanity's return spread across the galaxy within hours. Every major faction shared the reports, every communication channel buzzed with debates, and every council hall echoed with the same question. What would this new humanity become? A friend, a rival, or something far more dangerous? No one had an answer. On their flagship, Captain Laura Briggs and Admiral Mercer stood side by side as more signals from distant civilizations arrived. Their screens were filled with requests, warnings, and questions. Some messages were friendly, some cautious, and a few were openly hostile. Yet Laura kept her calm. She had expected fear. She had expected suspicion. Humans had lived in silence for thousands of years, and now they were rising with advanced ships no one fully understood. "Maria," Laura said, turning to her communication officer, "filter all incoming messages. Keep the peaceful requests first. We will answer the rest later." Maria Logan nodded and began organizing the constant stream of transmissions. Studied the holographic map above the strategy table. Red markers appeared at the edge of the system. Unknown ships. They were watching the human fleet from a distance. Grant walked into the room, his expression tense. "Admiral, long-range scanners show another signal. It is faint, but it is approaching fast." Narrowed his eyes. "Show it on the display." Tapped the console and a blurry shape appeared. A ship, sleek, fast, larger than a scout vessel. Maria looked up. "Is it one of the factions we already know?" Shook his head. "No, this signature is not from the Assembly, not from the Trade Union, and not from the Free Worlds." Laura felt a quiet tension grow inside her. "Then who is it?" Before anyone could answer, the sensor panel beeped sharply. Stared at the new readings. "Captain, this ship does not belong to anyone who contacted us. It is unregistered, no identification." Spoke with a low voice. "A shadow ship." Maria frowned. "Shadow ship." Laura explained calmly. "A ship that watches without introducing itself. It hides. It listens. It is usually used by empires that do not want to show themselves." Maria's eyes widened. "Who would do that now?" Exhaled slowly. "Only someone who is afraid of us, or someone planning something." The shadow ship grew closer. On the other side of space, inside that ship, commander of the Empire watched humanity's fleet on his screen. His dark scales shimmered like metal in the dim light. His sharp eyes studied every detail. "Look at them," said quietly. "They rise from a dead world and act like they belong among us." One of his officers stepped forward. "Commander, their ships are stronger than expected." Bared his teeth in a cold smile. "That is why we must understand them. Weak prey hides, strong prey returns." Another officer asked, "Should we attack?" Shook his head. "Not yet. A wise hunter tests the animal before the strike." He pressed a button and a small drone detached from his ship. It floated silently through space, heading toward the human fleet. Back on the flagship saw it first. New object approaching, small, no engine signature. Maria leaned closer. "What is it?" Recognized it immediately. "A probe. Someone is spying on us." Laura's voice became firm. "Scan it. Do not destroy it unless we must." Sensors locked onto the drone. It was small, silent, and recording everything. Maria whispered, "Captain, it is targeting our engine designs." Reacted instantly. Shut down all visible energy patterns, close every channel, do not give them anything. Moved quickly, hands flying across the console. Done, sir. They cannot read our systems. The drone paused, its signals suddenly blocked. It drifted for a moment, confused, then turned back toward the shadows. Laura's jaw tightened. Whoever sent it is watching us closely. We need to be ready. Maria looked nervous. Do you think they will attack? Answered grimly. If they fear us enough, maybe. Hours passed. Diplomats came and went. Peaceful messages arrived. Curious researchers asked for interviews. Traders offered deals. But all the while, the shadow ship remained hidden. By the next day, humanity prepared for a second round of diplomatic talks. Laura walked through the long corridor that connected the main sections of the ship. Crew members moved quickly, securing areas and preparing for guests. Some looked excited, some looked frightened. In a corner, Brooks sat quietly, adjusting a small device for the meeting. Laura stopped beside her. Laura said gently, "How are you?" Looked up. "Still nervous, Captain. This is all so new. We lived our whole lives under the ground. Now aliens are visiting us like it is normal." Laura smiled softly. "It will take time, but you are doing well." Returned the smile weakly. "Thank you." Meanwhile, Admiral Mercer entered the weapons control room, where Daniel Hayes and several officers inspected the defensive shields. Daniel looked up immediately. "Admiral, all shield systems are stable. We have backup generators ready, but—" Raised an eyebrow, "But—" Daniel hesitated. "Sir, I think someone is watching us. I feel it." Placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are right, and that is why we prepare." Daniel nodded slowly. When the diplomats arrived for the second meeting, the atmosphere was different. The aliens sensed something was wrong. The representative stepped into the hall and looked around. His glow markings pulsed faintly. "Captain Briggs, there is tension in your ship today." Laura answered honestly. "Someone is spying on us. We believe it is a hostile faction." The trader's golden eyes widened. "A hostile faction already. Join them. We will not start a fight, but we must be cautious." The free world's envoy spoke calmly. "This is expected. A hidden species rising with strong technology will always frighten others." Laura nodded. "That is why we need these talks, to show the galaxy we seek peace." The meeting began and the discussion grew deeper. Humans explained their underground society, how they farmed, lived, built families, and kept their history alive. They described the ancient machines that guided their development. They explained the dangers that forced them to the surface. The aliens listened closely, asking many questions. Maria Logan stepped in and out of the room quietly, delivering reports and adjusting communication channels. She noticed that kept watching the screens behind her as if he sensed something hidden. Halfway through the meeting, rushed into the room. "Captain," he said urgently, "we detected another drone. This one is bigger. It is trying to scan our weapons." The room fell silent. Stood, "This is a threat." Stepped forward. "Position a scout ship to intercept. Do not attack, just block it." Nodded and sprinted out. The trader whispered, "A faction is testing your strength. That is dangerous." Laura spoke calmly. "We will protect ourselves without starting a war." But in the shadows of space, Commander was growing impatient. "What are they doing?" he growled as he watched the probe footage. "Why do they block every scan?" An officer replied, "They are hiding something." Slammed his clawed hand on the console. "Then we must push harder." He ordered his ship to move closer. Back on the flagship, alarms suddenly echoed through the halls. Maria's eyes widened. "Captain, a large vessel is approaching, unidentified. It is not slowing down." Spoke firmly, "Shields up now." Daniel activated the shields immediately. A soft blue layer shimmered around the human fleet. Returned to the bridge and stared at the display. Captain, this ship is huge, bigger than any scout. It is armed. Laura felt her pulse quicken. Open a channel. Maria tried. No response. Try again. No response, Captain. The alien ship drew nearer. Inside that dark vessel, Commander smiled coldly. Let us see how strong humans really are. He sent a small burst of energy, just enough to test the shield. On the flagship, sparks flashed across the shield interface. Daniel shouted, "We were hit, light impact, shields holding." Clenched his jaw. This is a test. They want to see how we react. Laura stood firm. Do not fire back. Maria looked shocked. But Captain. We will not start a war, Laura said. Hold your ground. The alien ship fired again, stronger this time. The lights flickered, the shield rippled. Daniel yelled, shields at 80%. Brooks rushed in from the hallway. Captain, we can increase shield output, but it may drain our auxiliary power. Do it, Laura ordered. The shields grew brighter. Commander watched the result. Interesting, strong shields, but how long will they last? He fired a third shot. The ship shook violently. Maria grabbed the console to keep her balance. Captain, we cannot take many more hits. Looked at Laura, we have to act. Laura breathed deeply, open visual channel. Maria tried again. This time the dark ship responded. Appeared on the screen, his sharp eyes filled with cold amusement. Laura stepped forward. This is Captain Laura Briggs of Earth. You have attacked us without cause. Explain yourself. Leaned closer. We do not trust hidden species. Prove your strength or fall back into the ground where you belong. Narrowed his eyes. We do not want to fight. Laughed, then you will lose. Laura's voice turned firm, strong, and steady. Humanity survived thousands of years underground. We will not be threatened. Bared his teeth, then defend yourself. He fired again. The ship shook harder, sparks fell from the ceiling. Daniel shouted, shields at 50%. Laura looked at, it's time. Nodded, Maria sent a warning, last chance. Maria transmitted the message. But only growled, fight or fall. Laura gave the final command, target their weapon systems only, fire. The human fleet responded. Maria's hands flew across the console, weapons firing. A bright beam shot from the flagship, striking the enemy ship's weapon array. Stumbled as his ship shook. Commander, their shot disabled our forward cannons, one officer cried. Snarled, fire again. We cannot, sir. Back on the flagship, Daniel smiled with relief. We did it. Their weapons are down. Laura stayed calm. Hold position. No further fire unless required. Glared at them through the screen. This is not over. Laura answered softly. For your sake, I hope you choose peace. The screen cut out. The enemy ship retreated slowly into the shadows. But everyone knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had shown strength. And now the galaxy would react. The human fleet floated in silent orbit above Earth. The stars were calm again, but every person on the ships knew the storm had not passed. The attack from the Empire had changed everything. Peace was still possible, but danger now surrounded humanity from every direction. Inside the flagship, Captain Laura Briggs stood on the bridge with a tired but steady expression. She had not slept, and her officers had barely rested. The galaxy was watching for their next move, and every decision mattered. Maria Logan monitored the screens, her fingers moving carefully across the controls. Captain, we are receiving new messages from several factions. Some are asking if we are safe. Some are demanding an explanation for the battle. And others, she paused. Mercer finished for her. Others want to know how strong we are now that we defeated a ship. Laura nodded slowly. The galaxy does not trust sudden power, but we cannot hide. We must show that we want peace even after a fight. Grant stepped forward with a report. "Captain, our shields are stable again. Weapon systems are ready, but engineers say it will take hours to repair all the damage from that last attack." Laura placed a hand on his shoulder. "Good work. Tell the engineers to rest when needed. We will not start another fight." Looked toward the main screen, his face thoughtful. "The Empire will not stay quiet. Their commander will return. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but he will return." Maria looked at him nervously. "So what do we do now?" Laura answered softly. "We prepare, and we talk. The galaxy must understand who we are." A soft chime rang from the communication panel. "Captain," Maria said, "the Assembly requests an emergency meeting. They want to speak with us in person." Crossed his arms. "In person on our ship?" "No," Maria answered. "They want us to come to their station. They believe it will show trust." Laura considered this carefully. "They ask for trust, so we must show it." Eyes widened. "You want to leave Earth?" Laura nodded. "Yes, a small group, only one ship." Maria hesitated. "But Captain, the Empire may be waiting for an opening." Laura smiled a little. "They already know where we are. Running or hiding will not help us. Showing confidence might." Finally spoke, "Then I will go with you." Laura shook her head. "No, if something happens, someone must remain to lead the fleet. You stay here." Frowned, but he understood. A few hours later, the smaller human cruiser Horizon detached from the fleet and began its journey to the station. Laura, Maria, Brooks, and a group of guards were. The stars stretched across the windows as the Horizon moved away from Earth. Leaned against the glass, whispering softly, "I never thought I would leave Earth. I never even saw the sky until yesterday. Now I am flying to another world." Maria smiled gently. "Life changes fast." Sat at the navigation console, watching their route carefully. "We should reach the station in 30 minutes. Laura stood at the center, her hands clasped behind her back. She appeared calm, but deep inside, she worried about the unknown. As they approached the station, they saw its massive size. It floated like a glowing ring in space, with blue and silver lights shimmering on its surface. "Beautiful," whispered. Maria nodded. "It looks like a city in the stars." The docking procedure was smooth, and soon the Horizon connected to the station. When the doors opened, and several officials were waiting, bowed respectfully, "Welcome, humans, thank you for coming." Laura stepped forward. "We are honored to be here." Led them through the bright halls, where strange holograms floated in the air and alien symbols glowed softly on the walls. Walked slowly, her eyes wide. "This is so different from our underground cities." Heard her and smiled. "Your people lived in darkness for so long. Now you will see many new sights." He guided them into a large meeting room filled with alien representatives. The trader, the free world's envoy, and others were already seated. One of them spoke immediately. "Humans, your recent battle has caused fear. People worry your fleet may start conflicts." Laura answered calmly, "We did not start the fight, we defended ourselves." The trader nodded. "We saw the recordings. The ship fired first, but many worlds fear what your technology can do." Added, "If humanity wishes acceptance, you must show the galaxy you prefer peace." Maria looked confused. "How do we show that?" The free world's envoy responded gently. "By sharing your story, your truth, why you hid, how you survived, and what you seek now." Laura took a slow breath. "Then we will tell everything." She spoke for a long time, explaining humanity's history. She described the great disaster that drove them underground, the centuries of rebuilding, the ancient machines found deep under the crust, and the long silence they kept so they would not be discovered and destroyed. The aliens listened closely. Some were shocked, some were moved. None expected humanity's story to be so deep and painful. When Laura finished, the room remained silent for several seconds. Finally stood. Your people survived darkness with determination and strength. That is something to respect. Another representative added, but you must agree to share limited information. Not your weapons, not your engines, only your story. Laura nodded, we agree. Maria whispered too, do you think this will help? Whispered back, it has to. After the meeting, pulled Laura aside. There is something you must know, he said quietly. The Empire is preparing something. We hear rumors of a strike force. Laura's face darkened. Against us. Against your fleet, confirmed. Their commander believes your people are dangerous. Laura felt a cold chill. We cannot fight a war so soon. We need time. Nodded, then you must return quickly. Your fleet may need you. Laura gathered her team. Everyone, we are leaving, now. Maria looked worried. What happened? Laura answered, trouble, we must get back. The Horizon undocked fast and returned toward Earth. But halfway through the journey, gasped as alarms flashed across the screen. Captain, multiple ships ahead. They are blocking our path. Maria checked the scans. They are vessels, 4 of them. His voice cracked. Are they going to attack us? Laura whispered, not if we can talk first. The enemy ships moved closer. Their dark hulls looked like armored beasts floating through space. A message appeared on the screen. Commander. Maria swallowed hard. He found us. His face appeared, his eyes filled with cold triumph. Captain Briggs, he said slowly, you left your world. That was unwise. Laura stood tall. You attacked us without cause. What do you want now? Smiled. I want your surrender. Hand over your ancient machines, your ships, your knowledge. Clenched his fists. He wants everything. Laura kept her voice calm. We cannot give you what is not yours. Leaned closer. Then your fleet will burn. He cut the connection. Maria shouted, they are powering weapons. Laura reacted instantly. Full speed, strengthened shields. The Horizon sped forward, dodging the first blast. A bright bolt passed just behind them. Cried out, shields holding at 90%. Gritted his teeth. I will get us through, Captain. He turned the ship sharply, slipping between 2 of the enemy vessels. Another blast hit their side. Yelled, shields at 70. Maria shouted, Captain, they are chasing us. Laura stayed calm. Keep moving, do not stop. The Horizon pushed its engines to the limit. Another shot hit them. Gasped, shields at 40. Whispered, come on, come on. Finally, the human fleet appeared on the screen ahead. Maria shouted with relief, we made it. But the ships were still coming. Inside the flagship saw the incoming danger. All ships activate defensive formation, protect the Horizon. Daniel Hayes raised the shields. Ready, Admiral. The ships fired again. But this time, the human fleet responded. Bright beams of light shot from several human ships, striking the enemy vessels and forcing them to retreat. The Horizon raced into the safety of the formation. Laura sighed with relief. We are safe. Contacted her immediately. Captain, are you all right? We are, Laura answered, thanks to you. Sat back exhausted. That was too close. Maria wiped tears from her eyes. I thought we were going to die. Hugged her tightly, but we didn't. Laura returned to the flagship soon after. The entire crew awaited her arrival. Stepped forward. Captain, what did the assembly say? Laura looked around at her crew, tired, scared, but strong. They want peace, she said. They want to understand us, and they warned us that the Empire will attack again. Nodded, then we prepare. Laura looked at the window, where Earth shone softly below. We survived the underground world. We survived darkness. We will survive the galaxy. Maria and Daniel stood beside her. Humanity was no longer hidden. They were rising. And the galaxy had no choice but to face the truth. Earth was back, and humanity was stronger than anyone ever imagined.